Today, you're gonna get an unbiased review of Ram TRX versus Ford Raptor from your boy, Real Deal Neal. Let's go. If this is your first time checking out my content, much appreciation. Hit that subscribe button. This is an unbiased review because your boy Real Deal had Chevrolet on his mind for a long time in the early years. I was a Chevrolet guy, tried and true. I didn't even like Ford. It was just kind of, I wasn't educated enough on it to know I needed to like Ford. And I had a Ram 1500 back in the day too. Got nothing wrong with a Ram truck. So this is truly, you know, Real Deal's a Ford guy, but this is gonna be a Real Deal review. We're gonna talk about the obvious things first and then dive into some more of the details. Obviously, you can tell we have a Raptor 37 package here. This is my Indo Raptor package, Gen 3, 2021, and a 2021 Ram TRX. This one is stock. There goes Ricky in his Corvette. Real Deal is a Corvette guy also. So a stock Ram TRX and a Ford Raptor Gen 3 37 package that has been highly modified. Let's talk about that first and foremost. So did paint match throughout the entire vehicle, did a level kit up front, did a taller device in the back via a spacer on top of your coil spring. We are almost on 38. We're very, very close to being on the 38 margin as far as overall tire size. We're over 13.5 wide. We're almost 14 wide with this setup. So the two side by side, obviously the Ram on 35s from the factory, and it's no level kit on this one, so it's a little nose end heavy on the front, and you can tell side by side that it's not quite as tall overall, essentially just because of the tire height difference and the Raptor being leveled out. But a very off-road, bold front end. If this was my Ram TRX, let's get this out of the way, I would definitely paint match the bumpers white, do black on the front skid, do gloss or satin there with some nice accents in white for your Ram letters. I have so many thoughts about what to do down through here too on the Ram TRX. We just got to get more of these vehicles in to where we can customize them like we have with our Indo Raptors. This right here has been phenomenal for us and the market. People love it, I love it. It just adds so much value and overall enjoyment out of your vehicle. But these are the two best trucks on the market from a performance standpoint, as far as just putting a smile on your face time and time again. And much so due to the 6.2 liter, this is where it gets emotional, y'all. The 6.2 Hemi V8, supercharged V8, 702 horsepower versus the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine at 450 horsepower. That is the biggest complaint that Real Deal has about the Raptor, y'all. We need the V8. I mean, we gotta have the V8. I love the EcoBoost, but this right here is just waxing us. I mean, it just laying the hammer on the Raptor right now. There's no comparison overall in the power of the Ram TRX versus the Raptor. This has adequate power, all the power you need, more than you need. But this right here just is on another level, and you're gonna hear it here in just a second. Appearance-wise, this one has not been painted. Ram does incorporate a gloss black lower portion on their vehicles on certain levels as well. So let me know what you think about that. I personally would white that whole bottom out also, just to make it more clean overall, and then do white on those fenders there. Out back, I would do a custom paint on the tail light and maybe tweak a little bit on this tailgate here, remove a little texture. There's so many things I'm not gonna tell you about necessarily that I would love to do for the Ram TRX. I do like the applique that the Raptor has. That just kind of gives it a very unique look overall. And let me get you a good shot side by side of them compared. I feel like the Ram just needed a little bit more on their tailgate. This just looks more special, more off-road, more premium, more unique in having an applique versus just doing the letters there. But nonetheless, both of them mean business. I'm not gonna make you wait any longer. Let's go ahead and hear the start up on the Ford Raptor. Okay, not bad. Got a little growl, sounds good. It's in normal mode. It does have different drive modes on the Raptor. So you can do Baja, Sport, Quiet mode, normal. So we're in normal. It sounds good. No slouch there. So the one thing that's a negative, this doesn't even have a remote start, y'all. The Ram TRX having to go inside here, so you're not gonna hear a true sound. The microphone's on me, but so just for your knowledge, the Raptor's still running. I mean, it just dominated the Raptor just like that. It just crushed his soul with just the startup. I mean, I ain't even driven it yet, and it just crushed us, y'all. I mean, that right there is what I'm talking about. That's what we need. We need that on the Raptor, y'all. I mean, that is unbelievable. So we're not off to a very good start on the Raptor, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that right there is such a big ticket item that, I mean, we're at a deficit from the get-go. Let's see if we can overcome in certain form or fashion. So suspension-wise, shock package, we have the Fox 3.0 live valve technology. It has been increased in size and diameter as opposed to even the Gen 2. It is a phenomenal system. I can tell that the overall ride quality on the Gen 3 system is that much better than even the Gen 2. So love the overall suspension travel, comfort, and capability, both on and off road on the Raptor. Also, you can see the RPG 1.5 inch level kit we installed on here. And also out back, we did a Fouts Motorsports 3/4 inch spacer on top of your coil spring there. So top mount there. I'll show you back here. Here you can see the 24-inch coil spring out back with a spacer on top. I love the exhaust. It has a trombone equal length exhaust. Basically both pipes are the same length in totality. It's a legit exhaust system. It's just not a V8, but nonetheless a 5-link in the rear as well. So 5-link meaning you've got your 4 connecting rods there, trailing arms, radius arms in the rear, however you want to call it. I call them rear links. So you got an upper and lower there. We'll have to upgrade those with RPG coming soon on this bad boy, and a pan hard rod going across the center portion as well. So a much similar and kind of a copied thing over from the TRX. So 5-link in the rear here as well, and Bilstein shocks with position sensitive dampener as well, the active terrain dynamic system, a dual valve system as well. The Blackhawk E2, a 355 millimeter, so they are not quite as big as the Fox shocks, and travel is not quite as good as well. You have 11.8 inches overall on the Ram and 13 inches on the 37 package up front and like 12.1 in the rear. So overall suspension travel in comparison goes to the Raptor. So we got a small little notch there on the Raptor side. On the Ram TRX, suspension travel is just not quite as adequate. The dampeners are not quite as big. I like Fox over Bilstein by a good margin. So as far as suspension, essentially the same, but shocks and overall travel is better on the Ford Raptor. Your approach and departure angle, even on the 35 package Raptor in comparison to the TRX, the Raptor wins in that segment, but especially on the 37 package, you just have so much more overall ground clearance on the front and the rear to just overcome obstacles. Now, I would love to change and add and see a Ram TRX with a bigger wheel and tire combo. So hopefully we can get our hands on something like that and bring it to you soon. Here's a good look at the Bilstein shock package on the front with your four-wheel drive system and your tie rod ends. A very adequate and similar characteristic of the Raptor. The overall width of the Ram TRX, you know, this is essentially just like this is a F-150 on steroids. This is a Ram 1500 on steroids, y'all. So it's the same essential half-ton truck with so much more goodies to make it just a more capable and fun vehicle in totality. But this essentially, this vehicle is right at 7 inches wider overall. That's why you've got the marker lights that light up here on the top to be legal on the road, as well as on the side here. As far as those markers, the markers are not quite as evident or big on the Ram TRX in comparison to the Raptor. The Gen 2 Raptors, they had smaller circular lights. On the Gen 3, they made them brighter and wider throughout the entire vehicle. So I like the marker lights on this one. Even though these are LED and they're pretty bright, I like the size overall we got over here. And the Raptor is 8 inches wider, so it definitely gets the nod as far as being just the most bolsterous and bold and substantial and big vehicle. It is definitely wider. And the way that we like to do our paint package, to me, it just makes the most sense to black it all out. It just looks longer, taller, and wider in general. It just looks more narrow the way the Ram TRX grill is. It doesn't quite go as wide, and it's not painted, so it just doesn't have that appearance of being just a more substantial overall bold vehicle. Now, you do have functional heat extractors. This is a functional air intake, and then the functional heat extractors here. You have heat extractors on the Raptor up top, as well as here on the side. And fully functional. Gotta love that. Very, very much needed as far as supercharged and turbocharged needs efficient, low temp air to run at maximum capacity. Start under the hood on the puny 450 horsepower Ford Raptor engine first, y'all. Makes me so mad, y'all. Not really, I'm not mad. It's got all that I could ever need or want. I'm just mad. I want the V8. You know, I'm tried and true, I'm OG, I just miss it. So anyway, y'all, I've got to add a cold air intake on this bad boy very soon. I want to add a Roush tune as well very soon. You've got diversion tube to just try to limit power by constricting air intake, and I just don't like that. I'm not a fan, but essentially a great engine overall as far as the EcoBoost engine and what it does for the size and being a twin turbo vehicle of 3.5 liter displacement. It puts out plenty of power, but it's just not what we've got going on over here. 6.2 liter Raptor killing V8 Hemi power. Even got the Hemi orange on your headers there. Oh my gosh, supercharger just chilling, and then even a little shade they throw at us under here via a TRX eating a Raptor. Oh my gosh, this means war. LED headlights on both. It's got all of the modern creature comforts you could ask for. I think I've covered everything as far as the outside. The power, the suspension, the shock package, the travel capability, the approach and departure angle, the engine power plant, the aesthetically pleasing or displeasing looks and appearance overall. Let's jump inside. So inside the Ram TRX, Ram has done a great job of stepping up their game with overall interiors. I love how they push the envelope. I mean, really all manufacturers are making each other compete, which is what I need, because we, the consumers, need quality components. What we've got going on in the seat package, this is not quite as supportive or comfortable as the Recaros that I have in the Raptor, but nonetheless, still a upgrade. This is like a mesh. I like the Alcantara suede. It seems to grip me better. So this is not quite as popular to me or as supportive, but nonetheless, it is a upgrade from the standard Ram 1500 seat. You have a nice serial numbered badge there on your center console, which looks great. And I love the shifter located there. They got the dial on most of them. All the Rams have the actual shifter. The steering wheel is been made smaller. It's a flat bottom, much like the SRT vehicles and Hellcat, etc. You still have some cheap, hard plastic material found in areas. You do have leather wrap with contrast stitching up top, but even like right here, and these knobs are just not quite as premium and just don't feel quite as good as the Raptor either. Jumping in the cabin, you have a elongated vertical screen and push start. Let's go. That gets me every time, y'all. I mean, it gets real deal every time. I love it so much. You've got launch control, you got performance pages, you got backup camera that's so clear and precise. Very similar. I'm not going to go into detail about what all the vehicle has feature-wise, but just in general, the screen is of the same standard. It's just more vertical than a horizontal in the Raptor. The steering wheel is great. In general, you have a nice LCD cluster and 2 analog gauges as well. Just some of the information that you can access inside here: digital speedometer, miles to empty. You can even view some of your performance page information in the cluster, oil temp, and essentially you just go up, down, and side to side. Trans temp, coolant temp, and then here's your off-road status with articulation, pitch and roll, drivetrain, where the power's going to, front to rear. Coming on down, here's your performance pages: launch control, braking distance, 0 to 100, quarter mile. Oh, speaking of that, quarter mile time really knocked the socks off. The fastest truck ever been tested as far as a quarter mile time, just under 13 seconds. That is screaming in a truck that is this heavy. Talking about the weight, the Ram TRX is a good bit heavier. It's around 700 pounds heavier than the Raptor, so I can tell when driving this vehicle that it's just not quite as nimble or athletic as the Raptor. So that's something to take note of too, based on what you're doing with the vehicle. I like an athlete. I like one that can kind of do it all. So I just like the overall feel of how the Raptor drives as far as the everyday driver, or even while off-roading. You can just tell that this vehicle is heavier, but the power just still is just on my mind. It just kind of dominates and takes over everything else. If we can get a V8 in the Raptor, then we'll have a true king. But for right now, it's undecided to me, because there's so many good about this engine and all the complementary features versus the total package that the Raptor has. One thing to take note of is the 8.8 average miles per gallon. That is a real number, not just showboating around here. That is what customers are getting in the 8 to 12 mile per gallon range, typically right around 10. Even via your audio there. I like the interior overall of the Ford better for many reasons. This is a great interior, but just not quite as nice overall as the Ford. Also, no twin panel moonroof, which is not a deal breaker, but just not quite as elegant or refined feel on the inside of the TRX in comparison to the Raptor. You have different drive modes just like you do in the Raptor, going between snow, tow, auto, sport, Baja, rock, and I love how the different gauges change, and even the image changes as well. It puts in the proper drive mode for that application: 4x4 low, high, etc. This just feels like home for some reason, y'all. It just feels right. You know, I thought hard about, like, why don't I just buy this and drive it and see how I really feel about it, you know? But I just can't get away from it. I can't get away from the Raptor. It's just something special about it. But this truck right here really has me tore up. On the 37 package on the 2021, you get the blue, highly debated interior, but with the Recaro seats, with the Alcantara suede, B&O audio, which is definitely an upgrade in comparison to the Ram audio. It's just better, y'all. The interior overall to me just has a more premium feel and look to it. You got premium components throughout the entire vehicle. The touch and feel is just so legit throughout. Jumping in the cabin, let's crank her up. A full LCD gauge cluster inside here, as well as a full 12-inch here. Great amenities. The interior on the Raptor just feels taller, it feels more elegant and premium, and it just feels wider because of how the dash panel is configured, with the center stack here being really tall and bold, and then just protruding out the side as well. It just has a great overall feel to it of balance and proportion and substance. Inside the gauge cluster here, you got very similar information that can be accessed very easily. I love how it's totally digital. You got your Raptor gauges, your different measurements. You can view fuel economy. You got digital speedometer built into the screen over here on the right side. Different drive modes, exhaust modes, dampening modes, steering wheel modes, and on the drive mode, whenever you twist the knob here on the side where the 4x4 is, it actually changes the color and the vehicle on your screen. Much like in the Ram TRX, just slightly cooler, y'all. Sport mode is my favorite. You got tow haul, just lots of different options to dial in your vehicle for your exact need. The B&O audio and the twin panel moonroof, let's show you a little bit. It's just a money setup. I love to see the sunshade You know, I don't use the sunroof that much, but just having that shade there. You got auxiliary switches, which I've got and have full function of with rock lights and other items there. The gauge clusters down here as far as your heat and air. I love how it's analog. I actually hear this is going away for 2022. Let me know if you heard that as well. The heated and cooled seats. Essentially everything that's on the inside of the Raptor as far as amenities is found also on the Ram TRX. So what you're debating and talking about is just the powertrain, and are you a Ford guy or a Ram guy? That really what it comes down to. It's highly debatable still. I'm going with the Ford, but essentially just because I'm a Ford guy and I just love the overall athleticness of the Raptor. If the TRX was more athletic, it would be more debatable. If the Raptor had a supercharged V8, there would be no debate in my opinion. I think overall Ford builds better vehicles in totality. That's just my personal opinion. But a Ram vehicle is no slouch whatsoever. They build incredible vehicles, just like Chevy and GMC. So let me know in the comments what you think about this debate, Ram TRX or Ford Raptor. The Raptor's the OG, so you know it's gonna have some sentiments towards it just because it's been around. This is more of an unknown to a lot of people, much like Jeep Wrangler versus Ford Bronco. There's a huge debate going on between that two, but they're both great vehicles. They both have many positives, way more than the negatives, but it just comes down to what your personal preference is. And I just love that the car industry is pushing the envelope and keeping power at the forefront. And if we can get 50,000 views on this in the first week, I will buy that vehicle. If we get 100,000 views in the first month, I will drag race these two, and I will do something, some cool, crazy stuff. Maybe do a tug of war action or something. So you gotta show me some love by pushing this video around. Hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for tuning in to my channel here at Willies at Akins Ford in Winder, Georgia. We are a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealership as well. So I hope this has been a true representation of my thoughts, not the dealership's thoughts overall, but real deal just shoots to you straight. I'm real all the time, y'all. Be positive always, and I wish you all the best. God bless. See y'all later.